So the octet rule is a rule where atoms want to have 8 electrons in their outermost shell or 0. So oct means 8. And this is going to play a really important role in why atoms bond and how they make molecules. So the octet rule is a general rule. There are some exceptions such as hydrogen and helium, but most atoms want to combine. When they combine, they share electrons. This is called a bond, so that they have a full outer shell with either 0 or 8 outside electrons. Some atoms will be givers to get their outer shell to 0, while some atoms will be takers to get their outer shell to 8. So look at the following. Why do you think an atom is either a giver or a taker? So if we look on this side, we have givers, we have beryllium, we have sodium, we have aluminum. Doesn't have to do with the color. Some are takers, such as oxygen, chlorine, and nitrogen. So the question you want to ask is, are they closer in their outside shell to 0 or 8? So here beryllium is closer to 0, so it's going to be a giver. Here oxygen is closer to 8, so it's going to be a taker. We learned the other day that valence electrons increase as you go across the periodic table. The group number tells you the number of outside electrons. So anything in group 1 is closer to 0, it wants to give away 1 electron. Anything in group 2 has 2 outside electrons. 2 is closer to 0, it wants to give away 2 electrons. Anything in group 3 has 3 outside electrons. That's closer to 0, it wants to give away its 3 electrons. 4 is where it gets tricky. So 4 is in between 0 and 8. So 4 is actually pretty cool. These are my favorite elements. They can be givers or they can be takers. So they can either get 4 or give 4. And now we begin to repeat the pattern. 5 is closer to 8, so it wants to take 3 electrons. 6 wants to take 2, so anything in group 6 wants 2 electrons to be happy and stable. Group 7 wants 1. And group 8, these are called the noble gases because they already have 8 electrons in their outer shell. They're already happy. Or 2 if it's helium, which is an exception because that first ring only has 2. So they don't bond at all. And this is why we have so many different materials in the world, why molecules get made, because of this octet rule and atoms wanting to bond to have either 0 or 8 in their outer shell in their valence electrons.